I run a company called English Helper. A couple of years ago, I started feeling the need for doing something different, and that need sort of fructified into a very specific goal that led me towards wanting to work in education using technology. I met this absolutely fascinating gentleman out of Boston. His name is Dr. Venkat Srinivasan. He's a computer scientist, and he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Venkat has this amazing innovation. It's a writing product that we are bringing to the market. And in talking with Venkat, with the alignment of his values and business goals with my vision, I decided to become a partner and join English Helper as the CEO of the company. And we try and get affordable, adaptive, easy to use technology for English language learning to all parts of this country, hopefully to other parts of the world, and to all segments of society, of people of different ages, genders, anybody who cares to learn. I didn't know I'd get into a startup when I left American Express. I definitely knew I wanted to do something different. I'd begun doing a few things different. For example, I was deeply engaged with the non-profit sector. I started teaching. I even started a new business with American Express's concept. And so I decided to leave American Express to get mind space and time space to think about what I really wanted to do. And after talking to a number of people and seeing the challenges that our young people face today as they step out into the real world, I was pretty convinced that education is where I wanted to focus my attention. I didn't want to do a non-profit because I don't think that they can really scale and become sustainable. I know my skills are in the area of for-profit businesses, so I decided to set up or participate in a business, and here I am as part of English Helper. Well, to begin with, a few years ago I met this blind guy called Eric, and he's unique in many ways. One of the reasons that makes him unique is he's the first blind person and probably the only blind person to have climbed Mount Everest. So he made this fascinating speech. We were in a place in Thailand, and I went up to him after the speech and I said, Eric, tell me more, teach me. You've achieved so much despite your challenges. And he said, if you're asking me whether you should climb Mount Everest, don't. But if you're crazy enough still wanting to do it, then it doesn't matter if you're blind. So Eric taught me a very simple lesson, and he said if your mind and your heart are together in something, then do it, because in only doing it will you discover what you bring to it, what you learn from it, and what you can contribute to it. As an entrepreneur coming from a large company background, I know that I know a lot because of the experiences I have. I also know that because sometimes I know a lot, I might stop myself from learning as I have to. And sometimes I feel I should be maybe 20 years younger so that I would be more adaptable and more ready to learn. But one of the things I've really learned is about people. I felt that great people are people who have great skills. And I definitely believe that great people are people who have great emotion and EQ and heart as well. But that truth has come to me really sharply here in this entrepreneurship. When I first started, I was paying a lot of weightage on people because of their background. Now I look to people who really own the business, who want to solve, and who have leadership skills of the kind which are not just as defined in the books, but of the kind that reflect in their eyes and in their hearts and in their desires to really make things happen. I think successful entrepreneurship, of course, requires the fundamentals of a great market opportunity, great product or service, and therefore the ability to bring it all together. The market sometimes is a given, especially in a place like India. I guess products are possible to either acquire or develop. The difference is in the way you execute, and I think there are two parts to execution. One is passion, and I think that anybody looking to jump into a business must really want to, and they must have hunger, and that hunger must be both intellectual and it has to be emotional. It has to be almost animal-like. The other part is associated with doing the right things, having good solid principles, good solid values, not hesitating to reach out, to learn from others, bringing in people who've been there before in some way or the other. Remembering the decisions and accountability is always with the individual who runs or owns the business. So I'd say those two things really make a difference. One aspect which I believe is quite important in India, we're a growth economy, even though our economy has slowed down, and most businesses have an opportunity to see runaway growth. My belief is that the area that we have to ensure we focus on as businesses in India is being always and consistently very customer-centric, recognizing that it is the customer that eventually makes or breaks the business, and building that recognition into everything, whether it's the walk or it's the talk. It's the culture of the company, it's every statement that the owner or the founder or the CEO makes, and every aspect of business must reflect that. And if you do that well, I think that from a longer term perspective, those are the kinds of businesses that will succeed. I don't like very generic observations about anything because they're difficult to prove or disprove. That said, I do believe that yes, our education system is significantly lacking. Yes, that as we hire young people in, it worries me to see sometimes the lack of ability to think laterally. Worries me sometimes to see the lack of critical thinking. Quite often people are working and thinking sequentially and they don't ask the question why. My guess is that our education system still suffers from being a system by rote. It's not as yet a system where young people, students, are encouraged to or have the support or the encouragement to learn through experience and through learn by solving and through learn by recognizing that a question may have different answers and an answer may support different questions. So I think that somewhere that shift has to happen, and it won't be easy, it won't be in the short term, but it has to be done.